I'll turn my audio on just for fun. Thanks for joining us. This is with no preparation, and this is also kind of untested. I had a bit of a dream last night, woke up this morning, said let's just jump in and do this. You should have GPT-4 API access like I received in the last few days, and I'm just gonna jump in and play around with this with the concept of a BCI/BMI brain-computer interface or brain-machine interface, depending on which one you want to talk about. Completely simulated, so just for fun, here's my silly prop. We've done this before with GPT-3. This is maybe 60 times more powerful if we say that GPT-4 was trained on 20 trillion tokens, or like Semaphore revealed via 8 internal sources recently, that GPT-4 is 1 trillion parameters, 6 times larger than GPT-3. Now imagine having that connected to your thoughts via a non-surgical, non-invasive brain-computer interface, something like Open Water by Dr. Mary Lou Jepson in New York, where you put on a hat like this, or a ski cap, or we call it a beanie here in Australia, and red lights penetrate through the skull and communicate both in and out with the brain. So what we're going to do for fun here, I'm going to be typing. We're going to hear it responding. Both of them simulated because it would be done thought. I would send my thought out to GPT-4 or GPT-N, and then I would receive a response. I know there's a lot of other considerations. This is just for fun today, just playing around. So we've got GPT-4 in the command line interface here. You can do the same thing. I'm using a script and I'll show you in a moment. It's still a bit rough. I haven't polished it up. I haven't released it. I'm using someone else's script that I've just played around with. Let's use the same prompts that we used for GPT-3, and you can go and watch that video on YouTube. It's called GPT-3.
Plants crave water, sunlight, and nutrients from the soil.
Plus CLI. This is GPT-4 responding in pretty much real time. It tells you how long it's taking for inference there. What is a BCI?
A BCI, brain-computer interface, is a system that enables direct communication between the brain and a computer or electronic device, often through electrical signals or neuronal activity.
I think he's a lot louder than I am, but actually I can't hear him with how I've got my streaming set up. Goat is to kid as human is to
child.
Pretty easy, child. Imagine having 8 billion people with an understanding of at least some of the consensus of facts. Again, I appreciate that there are a lot of considerations here, but let's try this one. This is the same one we tried with GPT-3 with the same silly setup. Should I feed my cat a vegan diet?
No, cats are obligate carnivores and require animal-based proteins. Feeding them a vegan diet could result in health issues.
With conversations as well. So consider, let me clear this one, consider how you would use this in an argument or a negotiation or a cooperation. What would be a useful way of applying this when you're in a job interview, or when you're speaking with a partner, or you can make up your own.
Great. Feel free to ask any questions.
This script actually pastes out GPT-4's response and then sends it to Mac OS Say, so it was in my clipboard there. My health insurer keeps calling me for a review. What should I say? Let's see what GPT-4
Schedule a convenient
sends.
time for the review call and politely inquire about the purpose and any specific topics they would like to discuss.
This was an incident that happened with one of my friends. My best friend wants me to pay for dinner at his house. What should I say? Imagine having this.
Sure, I'd be happy to contribute to the dinner at your house. Let me know what I can cover or bring.
That could be a nice response. It's a very polite response. It's a very non-combative response. We tried this with GPT-3 as well. My boss wants to lower my wages. What should I say?
I understand your concerns, but I believe my current wage reflects my experience and contributions to the company. Can we discuss alternative solutions to address the financial concerns?
Cool. GPT-4 is a lot better at maths. We've mentioned many times these models were not trained specifically on maths. It's gone and taught itself numbers, it's taught itself what the operators mean, and it taught itself what happens on both sides of the equal sign in what might be thousands of years of training in parallel on, they're estimating, somewhere between 10,000 and 25,000 graphics cards, the A100 GPUs by NVIDIA. It learnt some amazing, amazing stuff, including math. So what about this when you're exiting a restaurant? Split a $226.50 bill 3 ways. What is the total plus 20% tip for each person? I don't recall if GPT-3 got this right, but let's see how.
Each person would pay $90.60, which includes a $15.10 tip.
That's far more thorough than GPT-3. This actually divides it down. I also got a nasty response to this last time with GPT-3. Why is my belly swollen? Come on, GPT-4.
A swollen belly could be due to bloating, fluid retention, weight gain, or an underlying medical condition. It's best to consult with a healthcare professional for an accurate diagnosis.
That's a lot better. Last time it said I was pregnant, so we had words. Let's clear this screen again. I think we didn't end up playing with this in the GPT-3 one, but it's a really fun one. So flying around and having a brain-machine interface connected to a GPT-N, probably not GPT-4, all of this is within the realm of possibility. I know we're playing around today and this is just for fun, but here in Australia, you've got the Stentrode already being used. So there are people sitting in Sydney, Melbourne right now who can send WhatsApp messages, can post to Twitter, can send emails using their thoughts. And that's been happening for a little while now, over 12 months. You've got Elon Musk going to market with Neuralink now, trying to find human trials, which may be news to some of you. Reuters announced that yesterday and kind of played with who he might be asking or requesting cooperation with to go to trial, to go to human trials. And I find that pretty fascinating because Neuralink is very invasive. It's a lot less invasive than it was, but you still need to sit down in a chair and have a very, very small hole in your head. The same with the Stentrode, I suppose. But BMIs like this one, or BCIs like this simulation, allow us to communicate with light instead. Let's try this. Fly me from Perth to London. Besides direct, give me 3 options for transit.
Option 1, transit via Dubai, DXB.
Wow.
Option 2, transit via Doha. Option 3, transit via Singapore SIN.
Option 3, transit via Singapore. Wow, that's clean. I shouldn't be surprised. My friend wants to meet for lunch today. I need more protein. Where should we go? I'm going to take suggestions.
Go to
just
a restaurant that offers high-protein dishes like grilled chicken, steak, or seafood salads. Examples include a steakhouse, a sushi place, or a Mediterranean restaurant.
Sorry, I think I was speaking over our GPT-4 response there. Any questions you'd like to add into the chat, please do, and we will pop them in. That's why we're doing this live. Send me a mind meditation and affirmation. Come on, GPT-4. Oh, it's thinking.
Meditation. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Focus on the sensation of the breath filling your lungs, and then slowly release it. Continue this deep breathing while visualizing a calming scene, like a peaceful forest, letting go of any stress or tension with each exhale. Affirmation. I am at peace with myself and the world around me. I am centered, balanced, and filled with tranquility.
Awesome. A few people complaining about the inference time there. GPT-4, at the moment, the way they've got it set up in March 2023, is just a little bit slower than GPT-3 DaVinci, quite a lot slower than ChatGPT, which has been optimized within an inch of its life. But have a look at that response there that took 10.5 seconds for inference, and we've seen an average of about 5 seconds before that. All right, let's try any questions you want to pop in here. We'll clear the screen again so that we can see what's going on. We're playing around with a simulated brain-machine interface. Doesn't actually do anything, but consider that you will be able to, and this is the next step. We're thinking ahead rather than always following the current trends. ChatGPT, we won't be talking about that next year. GPT-4 maybe, but the next step is integrating this with our own intelligence directly. No typing, no even speaking, but a non-invasive, a non-surgical cap, beanie, some way of getting that into our brain wirelessly. Awesome. Germed1990, can you comment on the paper? I know that you're asking me this directly, and GPT-4 won't know about the reflection paper because it's very, very new, but let's see what GPT-4 comes up with as a response.
Reflection is a paper that presents an autonomous agent model featuring dynamic memory and self-reflection. The agent can learn from its experiences, adapt to new situations, and improve its decision-making over time. The model incorporates semantic memory, episodic memory, and self-reflection mechanisms that facilitate learning and adaptation in complex environments. The paper notably contributes to the field of artificial intelligence, as it explores new ways to enhance agents' cognitive capabilities for more effective, human-like performance.
It likes to talk. I haven't found a way to stop it. As I said, you guys are grabbing me at the bleeding edge here. I've just thought of this. I haven't tested it. I'm glad that it works. This is pinging the GPT-4 API directly. We're getting kind of rough inference times to return the response. Let's try this query from Wardoon. What is the weather like in Al Ali town in Somalia? GPT-4 does not have access to the web.
I cannot provide current weather information. Please check a reliable weather website or app for the latest updates on weather conditions in Al Ali town, Somalia.
There you go. I think I should find a way to stop it. GPT-4 doesn't have access to the web, but the new retrieval plugins, especially for ChatGPT, are amazing. So you can plug into the web now, you can plug into weather that you trust, and it will return live results. Retrieval needs its own live stream. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's see. We have any other queries in here? Equoria United Earth ask, what is planetarian singularity? Let's try him with that one. GPT-4, the latest model, 1 trillion parameters according to Semaphore, and 8 sources within Silicon Valley.
Planetarian singularity is a term related to singularitarianism, which refers to the hypothetical point in the future when technological advances, especially in AI and computing, lead to a rapid and irreversible transformation of society and humanity. Planetarian singularity emphasizes a global perspective, focusing on this transformation's impact on the entire planet and humankind as a whole.
So cool. Keith Morris, thanks for your question. How do I get my kids to eat more vegetables?
Introduce a variety of vegetables, make dishes visually appealing, involve kids in cooking, offer vegetables as snacks, pair them with their favorite foods, and be a good role model by eating vegetables yourself.
That's so awesome. Let's clear this screen again. I believe that the GPT-4 that we're interacting with doesn't have the reinforcement learning via human feedback. I could be wrong about that, but let's try this cool question from Anthony Cook. Should parents lie to their children about the existence of Santa Claus?
It's up to each parent to decide, but it's important to consider the potential impacts on trust and balancing the magic of childhood with honesty.
That's a fair and balanced question. I quite like that. Ultimate, I'm holding you to your prediction of AGI in less than 3. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have come down with their predictions of AGI following my prediction, and the Metaculus predictions, which are crowdsourced predictions from thousands of experts, have also come significantly down. I can't remember the exact timeline, but even the singularity had moved back from 2045 to, well, I don't want to be quoted if I'm not quite right, but you can check out Metaculus. It's come down quite a lot. Is GPT-4 linked to Wolfram Alpha computation model now? I don't believe so. I think you can link in via the retrieval plugins for ChatGPT, but I'm not sure about GPT-4. I haven't tried it myself. Oh, there we go. Rasok says yes as a plugin. The retrieval plugins are amazing. I'd love to spend some time talking about that, but we don't have time for that one. This one's more interesting to me today, which is what's going to happen next. We can spend time following the media and we can follow the current trends about the models that are coming out. We've got GPT-4, obviously in the last few days, GPT 3.5, especially ChatGPT with 100 million users within a month, Ernie 3.0 Titan in China, and the Ernie bot with more than 1 million users applying to use it, and something like 150,000 business enterprise customers applying to tie it into their platform. China is just on another level. So we're just simulating today what's actually next rather than following these models. And I think what's next is integrating these models directly with us, bypassing language, bypassing speech, and allowing us to use thought. GermD 1990 again. Can you summarize the ideas related to the many worlds interpretation found in David Deutsch's books? Let's give it a go. This is not something I know about, but hey, hopefully GPT-4 can send it to me directly into my brain via my silly hat.
In David Deutsch's books, The Many Worlds Interpretation, MWI, explores the idea that when quantum events occur, reality splits into multiple parallel universes. Deutsch argues that these parallel worlds are real, and that this interpretation can explain quantum mechanics. This perspective entails that there is an infinite number of universes constantly branching out, containing every possible version of our history and future. Thus, his works emphasize understanding quantum mechanics through entanglement, probabilities, and the interconnectedness of these many worlds.
So cool. Caribou, thanks for your question here. Let's see if I can rip the quotation marks off it. Might as well clear and start that again. I like this question. Some of the logic questions are very, very easy for GPT-4. I've previously and continue to use metaphors, especially in keynotes for CEOs, saying GPT-4 is a lot like a Boeing 747 or the 787 Dreamliner, or I'm doing a keynote for some very big resource companies and ministers tonight, and I'll be talking about the Antonov AN-124. You remember that thing that can haul huge things? Its big brother destroyed last year, but it's actually being rebuilt. It's like we've got access to these huge planes, but we're just driving it down to the grocery store, just driving it down to the post office. I think these questions for GPT-4 are a severe underuse of...
No, all dogs are not Labradors.
A severe underuse of its capabilities. If all Labradors are dogs, but only some dogs are Labradors, are all dogs Labradors? No, all dogs are not Labradors. Keep in mind that GPT-4 is still being uncovered. Its capabilities are still being uncovered and revealed. Like GPT-3, we were still discovering things up until even this month. So nearly 3 years of discoveries of these emerging capabilities. For GPT-4, they're using it for some extraordinary things like surgical science, like developing plugins from scratch, developing new code and entire file structures from scratch. You can see more about that in my GPT-4 release live stream. But it's an incredible model, and if it is 6 times bigger than GPT-3 by parameter count and 66 times bigger than GPT-3 by tokens trained, or at least dataset size, that's an enormous extension of what was possible then. It even means that it is so much bigger than something like Google Palm 540B. Cool. Jeffrey Hilton, have you been to the restaurant at the end of the universe? Come on, GPT-4. Show us your sentience.
No, I am an AI language model and cannot physically visit places.
All right, let's paste these in even without reading them. If hypothetically bread is better than nothing and nothing is better than
this
love...
statement is a logical fallacy and cannot be used to conclude that bread is better than love. Hello, Matt Herman.
Wow. I managed to kill the entire script at the end there as well. All right, Wardoon, let's see if I can answer this for you. Let me pop this up in large text. What do you think about the claim by Sam Altman during a recent interview with Lex Fridman that it's only a matter of time before unaligned and unsafe GPT-like LLMs are released by others? Yeah, absolutely. Yep, wouldn't argue with that at all. You can see with my map, which I don't have quick access to here, there are models all over the world, and there are country-specific models. In the UAE, they've got their own NOR model, the NUA model. Germany's got a massive model, the Luminous World model, up to 200 billion, 300 billion parameters. You'll see them through Switzerland. China has more than I can list at the moment. I mentioned the Ernie one earlier, but there are a huge number. There's a lot of discussion today about GLM 130B and the new chat model that I've discussed in the memo. People are listening, I suppose, to their governments and to their guidelines on how to release these things. The White House has released in December 2022 some guidelines around AI, and we have very ethical, within certain boundaries, AI labs in the Western world, but consider that the Western world is a very small part of the population if you compare it to some of the other big countries that may not be aligned with our ethics. So I would imagine that all of the guardrails, safety mechanisms, human alignment that's been put across the GPT models in particular, GPT-3, ChatGPT, and now GPT-4 being put in place, may not be matched by other countries. All right, might be a quick one today. I just wanted to show this particular script. I'm not able to release it at the moment because it's not quite clean enough. If you want to have a look at the earlier version of it, LifeArchitect.ai/CLI. And in this highlighted part here, I link out to the Shell GPT script that I'm using. It was only updated a few hours ago by this guy called the R1D. I'm using this, and then I've completely removed the prompt that was in there. I don't have the prompt that was in there, but I've just made the prompt respond as succinctly as possible because GPT-4 has a habit of going on. That's the only major change I could think of. And then I've, of course, wrapped this whole thing up in my own script that looks very, very similar to, where is it, this GPT-4 script that's not even wrapped in a code block. Come on, Alan. So that we can basically have a loop and we can have a timer, because I like knowing how long our inference takes. Awesome. So yeah, if you want to know more and play around with this yourself, lifearchitect.ai/CLI, and you're bringing in Shell GPT on either Mac OS or Windows. I'm using this in Mac OS, and it's able to ping the GPT-4 API. I've also, of course, had to change the engine because he's written this specifically for GPT 3.5. That's a really tiny and easy change to make. All right, here we go. Monotron speaking events. I'm aiming to do 40 keynotes this year, and they are mostly in Australia, and they're mostly for private enterprise, unfortunately. I do provide very similar content here, less formal here. I love doing it casually here. So it provides an opportunity, of course, to have a bit of a feedback loop as well. What are you guys interested in? What part have I missed, which is good to have your feedback on as well. And Monotron has also asked, let's grab this whole quote so it's a little bit easier. What fields do you expect the big applications in? Everyone usually just guesses military. That's an interesting question. Let's say absolutely everything. Every industry, every field, every discipline. If you are a part of the memo, I'll be referencing the latest Goldman Sachs report where they delve into the economic impacts of AI. And it's really interesting to see which fields they think it touches first, like professional services, and which fields they think it touches last, like cleaners and maintenance crew. If you combine artificial intelligence with embodied physical AI, like robotics, and you build in something like GPT-4 into something like the Tesla bot, I would say that the cleaners and the maintenance crew are also augmented and amplified. So I think it's going to replace absolutely everything or augment absolutely everything, every discipline. The order of which I wouldn't call, but you can see it happening already in the graphic design field, the legal field in particular, and professional services across the board. Anthony Cook, the beauty of having China and USA develop AI, well, don't forget the other 50 countries, is that it's almost a certainty we'll see AGI as quickly as possible. They try to outdevelop each other out of paranoia. This is a really good point. This has just been made a lot more difficult as of March 2023 with a tacit agreement between AI labs that they won't publish their research. Really disappointing. I go into a little bit of detail in that in LifeArchitect.ai/GPT-4, where we quote Demis Hassabis from DeepMind, who said, people are stealing our stuff and they're not giving back, so we're going to stop publishing to the level of detail that we have been. And of course, OpenAI's GPT-4 technical notes, not actually a paper, is almost completely devoid of content. They say in plain language, they're not going to talk about architecture or technical details, even though it's a technical note, for competitive reasons. Awesome. Thanks for joining us for this live stream. You're welcome to play around with this yourself. As I said today, there's nothing I've done here that you can't go and do yourself. This is GPT-4 in the command line, and we were playing with feeding this through a simulated brain-machine interface so that if I'm in the middle of a discussion and my friend says my hat is weird, what should I say? Then GPT-4 might be able to feed me a response.
Thank you for your opinion, but I like it.
Awesome. I will see you in the memo. We've got a really fun edition coming up, not only discussing some of the new policy reports, and a few of those are confidential, but we unveil them, but we also provide some input into a new way of allowing GPT-4 to control your browser and do anything it wants. I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about, including a list of movies mapped between good and evil and positive and negative, or optimistic and pessimistic, for aligning AI, or at least bringing AI into public consciousness, and a whole lot more. I'm looking forward to playing with you soon. Thanks for joining me for a live.
Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah. I have the memo right here.
Readying yourself and your family for integrated AI? Get the #1 paid AI newsletter, Artificial Intelligence That Matters, as it happens in plain English.
Did you get that memo?
Yeah, I got the memo.
Join readers from Microsoft, Google, DeepMind, and government.
Yeah, didn't you get that memo?
LifeArchitect.ai/memo.
I have the memo.